Who are you?
Something terrible happened in that basement.
What are you? What are we?
Don't be afraid of the dark.
The film begins at Blackwood Manor in Providence County, Rhode Island in the 19th century, where a housekeeper is summoned by a bell ringing nearby. She reaches a staircase leading to the basement to meet her boss, Lord Blackwood. He asks her to come down and she begins to descend slowly. However, as she approaches the center of the stairwell, she trips over a rope and falls. Lord Blackwood looks terrified of something and towers over the housekeeper and says he is sorry and that they made him do it, and if he wants to see his child again, he must comply. The housekeeper gets terrified to see that he had no teeth, and then he uses tools to remove her teeth and kill her. As he collects her teeth on a plate, he hears his child's voice from the fireplace. He then approaches the fireplace with a small plate full of teeth and requests the mysterious creatures to accept them in exchange for his son. However, the creatures prefer to feed only on children's teeth, so as punishment, they drag Lord Blackwood into the fireplace. The scene shifts a few centuries later to a girl named Sally. Her parents are divorced, and the court entrusted Sally to her father. Later, she meets her father Alex and his new wife Kim, who is now Sally's stepmom. Together, they travel to their new home, which is the Blackwood Manor itself, and their renovation work is going on. Sally enters the study room, and Kim follows her to try to break the ice. She tells her that she is the interior designer and that the animal paintings in the room are by Emerson Blackwood, a man who once lived here. Alex then accompanies Sally to her room and tries to show her all the beautiful things inside. She asks him how long she is staying, to which he tries to explain to her he and her mother thought perhaps a change might be good for her, and that she could come and leave here with him and Kim until they finish the work on the house and sell it. Nevertheless, Sally locks herself in the bathroom and begins to cry. She suffered a heavy trauma when her mother abandoned her, and now, to make matters worse, her father is with another woman. Eventually, Sally comes out and lies down on the bed, saying she needs to sleep. Kim tries to figure out how to gain Sally's trust. However, Alex reassures her that Sally will learn to like her. Now, because Sally was able to hear Alex and Kim talk through the vent, she puts a pillow there, after which the creatures from the fireplace below say that her name is Sally. The next morning, Sally is sitting on a bench and hears voices calling her name from the backyard garden, so she starts following the voices. She comes across a fairy ring of mushrooms as she walks through the garden. Some cultures believe that they are a sign of an underground fairy village. As she walks through the bushes, she notices that they are hiding something. She shakes off the plants and notices a basement, but suddenly Mr. Harris appears and tries to take her away, saying it is not safe for her here. The couple arrives, and Mr. Harris warns them not to come back there. It's revealed that Mr. Harris's grandfather worked here a long time ago, so he knows some scary things that the others don't know about. Sally points to windows that lead to a basement. Alex and Kim find it and they get excited to see it. They go back into the house to find the entrance of the basement, and when Alex smashes the wall with a hammer, they find a door there. Kim brings the old house keys from the junk drawer in her office that opens the door, and they enter the same basement that we saw at the beginning of the film. Sally finds the fireplace there that is bolted shut, and as she gets closer to it, she hears voices calling her name. The couple says it's time to return to the house, and Sally follows them, and the fairy witches say that she will come back, and they always do. Now the next day, when Alex and Kim are busy at work, Sally goes down to the basement with a wrench and starts unscrewing bolts to open the chimney, and during this, she hears creatures asking her to open the grate and set them free. She asks them who are they and what they look like, to which they ask her to come down and she will see what it looks like down here. But Alex suddenly arrives and she hides the tools. Sally tells him that she heard voices coming from the chimney and asks her to listen. Now when Alex puts his ear close to listen, the creatures stretch the needle toward his ear. However, hearing nothing, Alex backs away just in time to avoid the needle. He decides to return and tells her to follow him. As Sally is about to leave, the creatures completely unscrew the bolts and the chimney lid falls off, due to which she gets terrified. She then approaches and finds a tray of teeth left by Blackwood, and as she grabs a tooth, the tray falls down and Alex calls her, so she immediately runs upstairs. That night during dinner, Alex notices that Sally is not eating. She says her mom says apple pie has gluten and it's bad for her concentration. This frustrates Alex and he tells her to eat or go to her room. The next scene shows how the key to the basement falls on the floor and is dragged under the bed. The creatures enter the house and Sally hears their voices asking her to turn off the light and they want to be her friends. They ask her to come down to the basement and play with her. However, in reality, the creatures are hungry and want her teeth. Soon after, Alex enters her room and the creatures hide. He notices the tooth under her pillow and she tells him that it's not hers and that she found it in the house. The next morning, Alex notices that his razor blade is missing. In the meantime, Kim rushes into the wardrobe and finds her dress badly damaged. Here Sally gets surprised to find an old coin under her pillow, but only then Alex comes there and asks her to come downstairs. He confronts her and scolds her, but she claims it is not her fault. Alex sees Sally clutching something in her hands and discovers an old coin she found under her pillow. Later, the couple leaves for some business, and while they are away, Sally hears the creature's voice from the vent and asks them if they cut Kim's clothes. But they ask her to come down and play. She then sneaks down into the basement with a flashlight and approaches the fireplace. She offers them raisins, but the creatures ask her to turn off the flashlight. When the creatures are about to come out, Mr. Harris comes down with a flashlight and asks her what she is doing down here in the dark and if is there someone here with her. Sally says she is all alone, and Mr. Harris orders her back into the house quick as she can. He then points the flashlight at the chimney and goes to close it. Unfortunately, some creatures were already hiding in the shadows and tipped over the flashlight. They then start attacking him from all sides using various items from the toolbox, such as box cutters and scissors. They then all together attack him and stab and slash him repeatedly, but fail to kill him as he manages to grab the flashlight, and only then Mrs. Underhill arrives. Bloodied Mr. Harris then comes upstairs and collapses. Now when the couple returns home, they are met by the police who tell him that Mr. Harris met with an accident. Kim rushes to Sally and to calm her down, she tells her that Mr. Harris is going to be okay. Sally cries and swears to God that she didn't touch her clothes. That evening, Sally calls her mother Joanne and asks her if could she come home, and she doesn't like it here, but she tells her that it's so beautiful there and she will get used to it. Now at night, Kim wakes up and finds Sally sleeping on her bed. She takes her to her bed, and when she is about to leave, Sally asks her to stay because she is scared. Sally sleeps with her, and when she wakes up later in the night, we see creatures running under the bed. Kim then leaves the teddy bear beside Sally and returns to her room. Soon after, the creatures bring down the nightlight of the merry-go-round, causing Sally to wake up and get scared. One of them sneaks under the sheets. Sally crawls under the covers with the flashlight and shines the light on the monster, causing it to scream. Sally bursts out screaming, causing the fairies to run away from there, and the couple rushes into her room. They calm her down as the creatures retreat into the vent, and Sally tells Alex about the little things that they live in the basement and they said they wanted to be her friend. But they are horrible and mean, but Alex thinks that she just had a nightmare. The next day, Alex asks a psychiatrist to help Sally, and she reveals that the creatures scare her and they talk to her and tell her that her parents don't love her. The psychiatrist tells Alex that Sally is very anxious and has a deep belief that she is not wanted, and he believes that's what's triggering these fantastic episodes, so he would like to try her on a stronger medication for a start. The next evening, the couple goes out on a trip to town where Kim suggests him to postpone the dinner, as she is concerned about what's happening with Sally. However, Alex is more concerned about his carrier and leaves there. Kim then visits Mr. Harris in the hospital and says she needs to know what Sally saw so that she can help her. He tells her Sally needs to be out of that house as soon as possible. He also tells her to go to a specific library and ask about the latest works of Lord Blackwood. In the library, Kim finds Blackwood's paintings that have not been published. The librarian reveals that these creatures fed on the bones and teeth of young children. On one painting, she finds the inscription "One life must be taken." These creatures had to take one human life every time they emerged to replenish their ranks. And then there's a pact between Pope Sylvester II and these ancient beings in the year 999. In exchange for human teeth, they start leaving sliver pieces under the pillow. He then shows her the last painting by Blackwood, made shortly before his disappearance and the loss of his child. Meanwhile, Mrs. Underhill prepares a bath for Sally, and while Sally is going towards the bathroom, we see fairies following her. She then enters the bathroom and slips into the tub. The creatures follow Sally into the bathroom and turn off the light, due to which she gets scared. She gets out of the bath and tries to escape, but the creatures break the lock on the door. They then come out of the darkness and try to attack her with sharp tools. Sally gets terrified to see them, causing her to fall into the empty tub, and the creatures with sharp tools crawl over the sides and curtains. Mrs. Underhill and other men try to break down the door, and just as the creatures are about to capture Sally, the men burst in and turn on the lights. Now when Kim returns home, Mrs. Underhill tells her that Sally is crying in her bed. Kim rushes upstairs, but can't find Sally, so she goes to the basement to find her, but she doesn't find her there either. However, she gets scared seeing a huge painting on the wall there. Alex then comes there and speculates that she may have run away, and they go looking for her. In the car, she tries to tell him what she discovered in the library, and a lot of what Blackwood wrote at the end of his life, it's close to Sally's story about gnomes, creatures, and all. She believes something terrible happened in that basement and they need to leave, but Alex doesn't believe her. When they spot Sally on the side of the road, Alex stops and tells her to get on board, promising that they will talk after the party. The next day, while getting Sally ready in her room, Kim promises her that she will get her out of the house after the party. However, she finds a razor blade in the drawer. Sally insists that she needs it to defend herself and complains that no one believes her. Kim tells her that she trusts her, and Sally explains that those things don't like bright light. Kim comes up with an idea and hands Sally an old camera to photograph the creatures. Sally walks around the party, taking pictures of the people arriving, and meanwhile, Kim gets shocked to see that Sally's drawings were similar to Blackwood's. She shows those drawings to Alex, but he is more concerned about his career, and Kim tries to explain to him that this is serious, but he leaves there. Here Sally notices an evil fairy on a flower pot and takes a picture, and she is overjoyed to have proof and tries to show it to her father, but the picture has not yet developed. Later, Alex, Sally, and all the guests gather at the table, and Sally shakes the picture to get it developed, but the curious guests keep touching it, so she puts it under her thigh. An evil fairy appears under the table and tries to steal the photo to get rid of the evidence, but Sally spots it and begins to twitch, attracting the attention of the guests, and here the evil fairy manages to steal the photo and destroy it. Sally crawls under the table with the camera, and eventually, the evil fairy leads her down the hallway and into the studio, where the other creatures close the door behind her. Sally tries to click them again, but they whisper that no one will believe her and mock her. Sally takes pictures at every opportunity to prevent the fairies from approaching her. They then start jumping on her and she asks what do they want, to which they say they want her. Sally bursts out screaming, and Alex and the guests rush to the studio door but find it locked. As Sally struggles with the creatures, one of them grabs the camera and climbs up the side of a shelf. Sally notices this and hastily slides the shelf against the evil fairy, crushing it, and the camera takes a picture before falling to the floor. Alex and the guests manage to force the door open and find Sally crying. She claims to have proof, but when she shows the only photo she has left, it is simply a photo of her screaming, and the guests leave promising to return another time. Later, Sally falls asleep, and Kim goes to talk to Alex in the basement, and he finally realizes that they have to get out of the haunted manor. Kim tells him to get the car ready while she goes to wake Sally. Alex goes into the garage and puts pillows on the back seat. However, the creatures are under the car and use a rope to make him fall, knocking him unconscious, and then they crawl to the electrical box and cut the wires, turning off all the lights. Kim grabs a flashlight and starts walking down the hallways, and as she descends the steps in the dark, she trips on a wire, falling and cutting herself in the shin. Now as she is about to lose consciousness, she notices that fairies are gradually gathering around her and saying one life must be taken. Sally wakes up upstairs and calls Kim. She takes the camera, goes down the hall, and finds her unconscious on the floor. After Sally approaches Kim and tries to wake her up, the creatures surround her and drag her into the basement. Meanwhile, Alex wakes up and tries to get out of the garage, but the door is locked. Here Kim also wakes up and hears Sally's scream, so she grabs the flashlight and goes to the basement. The creatures tie Sally's ankles with a rope and try to drag her into the chimney hole. However, Kim shines the flashlight to keep the creatures away and tries to save Sally. Meanwhile, Alex finds an entrance to the house but finds the door to the basement locked. In an attempt to enter, he peers through the keyhole, and the creatures use a sharp needle to stab his cheek. Kim uses the razor and begins to free Sally, telling her to run when she cut this rope, but Sally insists that she doesn't want to abandon her. In the process, the creatures wrap the rope around Kim's legs. She frees Sally, infuriating the fairies, and she is dragged inside the chimney, and as a distraught Sally crushes the creature who used to be Lord Blackwood to death. Alex finally manages to break inside and notices his wife clinging to the sides of the chimney, but it is too late. She is dragged completely into the hole and disappears. Sally cries as Alex picks her up and they run away. A few days later, Alex and his daughter return to the manor and Sally lays a drawing of her and Kim on the floor and says she loves her. Alex then closes the door and they leave the manor. Moments later, the basement door opens and the wind carries the drawing to the fireplace. In the final scene, we discover that Kim has been transformed into an evil fairy as we hear her voice reassuring the other creatures of the arrival of other inhabitants. After centuries, no one has been able to stop the creatures, and now they look forward to meeting their new guests. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it enjoyable. If you did, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more recap.